Probably that same week, I get a DM from Cam. He slid in my DMs.
Why, hello world, how are ya? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I hope this finds you in good health. Today we are back with my second episode of Talk 30 to Me. Today's guests are Cam Clouthier and Carly Angott. Now it's another first for me is in terms of interviewing two people at once. I've had conversations before. I mean, yes, I'm a human. And I've talked with more than one person before in my life. And even on show form, I've had multiple shows with more than one person or more than one guest. But now I'm trying to kind of tag team interview, or 1v2 interview, I should say, not tag team. So I hope it plays well. This was a very interesting conversation, and enjoy the show. But first, this episode is brought to you by Lame. On Saturday, March 10th, I promise it's the last time you'll hear about it, Saturday, March 10th, Lame has a stand-up specific show. In the Honors College on Eastern's campus, doors open at 7:30, and the event goes from 8 until 10. That's a stand-up specific show, Saturday, March 10th, 8 to 10. There will be a free raffle, and admission is absolutely free. So if you show up, you'll have a chance to win 3 of some mystery baskets. I won't spoil those ingredients yet, but come check us out. And now, the show. Okay, so now that we're past that.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So today I have Carly.
Hello.
What do you go by? You're calling Nicole on social media?
Yeah, it's more of like I made my Facebook in middle school, and it was precautionary because I didn't want, potential employers to see what I was posting in middle school.
Okay.
Carly Angott, that's my name.
Okay. And Cam, you go by Cam, right?
Yep, Cameron Clouthier is my name.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to have two people on that were willing to say their names, so we didn't have to have that awkward tango where I'd mangle it.
Censor it.
Yes. Today, you are parts of the group on campus, EVA.
Yes, we are.
And what does that stand for?
EVA stands for Eastern Videographers Association, and essentially we are a videography club here on EMU's campus.
Okay. And what are your positions in the club?
I am the president.
And I am the vice president.
All right. Got the whole cabinet here, basically.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So those are your roles. Those are the two basic ones I wanted to get out of the way. Mm-hmm. Is that how you two became friends?
No. So, I think it was sophomore year. We were in an editing class together, and I didn't know him at all. But we were using Macs, and I don't use a Mac. I never have, so I had no idea how to use it, and I would get frustrated and call it stupid. So we were waiting in line to give our professor our projects, and I don't know, I must have been complaining about it or something, because then Cameron was like, Macs are better, Windows are stupid, and then we went back and forth for a little while, and then I was like, okay, and then probably that same week, I get a DM from Cam. He slid in my DMs. I wish maybe I can pull it up because it might still be in there.
I think it's.
No?
I think I might have just. I think I might have
It
just
was more like
been like, hey,
Yeah.
or something.
Well, and then he would ask questions about a separate class with Damron, like, does he want this? Does he want that?
Yeah.
What are you doing for that? And I was like,
Yeah.
And so then after a while, I ghosted him.
Ouch.
As friends do.
As friends
Yes.
do. And I mean, that was in fall of sophomore year. So then winter sophomore year, we had the same class together. So we kind of got to know each other a little bit more. I realized he wasn't a creep.
Thanks.
And
Yeah.
I was a part of EVA before it was known as EVA. It was actually known.
So before we get to the history,
Yes.
because that's part of the
Gotcha.
questionnaires I got. I would just like to say, what class were you in as well? Because I don't think you mentioned that.
I think it was definitely digital editing.
That
was the first class,
with
and
John
then
Rice.
the next one was it intermediate production with John Rice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Nice.
that's how we got to know each other, and
we ended up working together on a project towards the end of the semester. It was like a mockumentary, and from then we hit it off well, and we are pals.
Yep.
And he joined the club, which is good because we definitely wanted him to join.
Why'd you want him to join? Just because he's talented, or?
I mean, I knew that he did stuff with marketing, so I
Right.
figured, he'd be a great addition to the team, regardless of how we met. And the stigma I had in my brain about who he was, I let go of that and got to know him. So he's a good guy.
Thanks, Carly.
He's not a creep
Thanks, Carly.
anymore.
Glowing review of Cam. Not a creep anymore.
Not a creep anymore.
So what like year are you in? Because I heard you say you met sophomore, so are you
Yes.
juniors or
Yeah,
seniors?
I'm a junior.
Okay.
And as well, I am a junior.
Okay. So you touched on it earlier, but when did this club start in the iteration that you were speaking of? Like,
Yes.
how far back does it go?
What was it? I was a part of my friend's group for the advanced movie making class, which is only available in the summer. And I acted in one of their groups for them. So that was, I think, the summer before sophomore year. And in the group, there was a member, Alex Zalgoot, I miss him a lot. And he was like, hey, want to join our club? It's leadership in film production. And I was like, yeah, oh my God, because I didn't have any friends and I was a commuter. So I was like, oh my God, I'm a part of something. And I thought it was sweet. So I joined, and in the fall, it was under different leadership. And it was more focused on leadership aspect because the president at the time was going to graduate that year and she needed like a project to go with her leadership minor. Yeah, so I met Alex Zalgoot and he asked me if I wanted to be part of it, and of course I was like, yes, I want friends. So in the fall I joined, and we would meet every, I want to say Thursday, and at first it was so exciting. We got to make a really cool last-minute Halloween video that I wrote literally the night before. That was fun. After a while, though, it kind of just started to dwell. We didn't really work on any projects. We would meet.
Cam, were you a part of LF?
I was not here
Okay.
yet. This was before I was
Okay.
actually involved with the club.
Yeah, so by the end of fall semester, sophomore year, a couple people left. A person dropped out of school. So we lost some people, and after a while, it just kind of started to become dull, and it wasn't what we wanted it to be. So I had talked to Alex towards the end of, that's the end of the fall semester. Then winter semester comes, and we really wanted to have new people join. So that's when I reached out to Cameron, and he was probably the only one that we could get. We went to Winterfest and tried to recruit people, but nobody was up for it.
Winterfest is way harder. I mean, I've been a part of 2 clubs. Trying to get people to join is always a tough part.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
I've done it with EFA and with EVA. That's going to get really hard to the listener, so I'll just say Eagle Filmmakers Association.
Yeah.
And my improv club, Laughing Man Enterprises. Fajita Fest, which is right before the fall semester starts, is way better.
Oh, it's so
for
much
getting
better.
people.
Yeah.
Because you have freshmen who don't know what to do, and
Right.
they're
Yeah.
kind of forced to go.
Yeah.
Winterfest is optional.
Yeah,
Right.
So we went to Winterfest, and it was all right. We didn't really get a lot of people coming in, though. And the thing is, I noticed at the first meeting of every semester, there's always so many people, and then the second meeting, they all are gone.
Right.
Yep.
So that's when I brought Cameron in, because I figured, he might be loyal and hang out with us more, which he has, which is good. And towards the end of the semester, we went through elections for the next year, and Alex was elected as the president, and so him and I was the vice president, and I'm still the vice president.
I was going to say, I find it very cool that you brought him in, and then now he's president.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that.
Yes, absolutely.
I would like to ask Cam specifically how you got involved.
Yeah.
But I mean, if that's the answer, then that's the answer.
Yeah, so Carly pretty much nailed it spot on, but it was basically we had the editing class together, and I was looking for an organization where I could sort of utilize my skills in filmmaking, and it just so happened that Carly reached out to me and she said, hey, we have this club. If you're interested, we do a lot of filmmaking and videography, and told me about some of their projects and told me about some of their goals for the future. And I think it was literally early in that week she told me about it, and then I showed up to the meeting later on in that same week. And then ever since then, I just fell in love with the club and got to know some of the people, and I just realized, like, wow, this is a really cool organization to be a part of, and I've just been there ever since.
So do you think part of your goal as a club is it to make videos, or is it to make films?
Well, we're definitely more geared towards videos.
Okay.
So by that I mean promo videos, kind of corporate videos, maybe along the lines of marketing.
Right.
But more recently, we've also gotten into short films and filmmaking, kind of things like that, just because we feel that it's good to have a little bit of both going forward, and they're all great portfolio pieces to have.
Right.
And also, a lot of people are very creative and have like really cool ideas for short films that they want to do, but they're not really sure how to bring them to life. So we, as a club, that's kind of one of our goals, is we invite members in and we openly talk about ideas and projects that we want to do, and people can chime in and give their opinions and their thoughts and everything, and then that's how we really come to like a major idea for a project as a group. We kind of just bounce ideas off of each other, and it works out really well.
So you define videos and films differently in that, like, promos, corporate videos, that's
Right.
Basically, nonfiction versus fiction.
Right.
Narrative style, and then there's corporate style,
Yep.
PSAs.
I saw the PSA you guys did about I
Yeah.
think it was recycling.
Yes,
Like
yes,
treating
it was
other-
taking care of the environment. Actually, we did that last semester, and that was a really great project, and I think that the message for that ended up being very powerful, and that's what we wanted to achieve, so we're very happy with that, definitely.
And I'm happy that there is a club on campus that allows people to explore that, like, aspect of
Right.
of videography. What do you think about, so you said your portfolios, does this mean something like you want members to come so that they can walk away with stuff for their portfolio, or can somebody ask EVA to make a video? Like, could a company go, hey, EVA, we need this?
Yeah, so
You like
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay,
Obviously,
wow.
we're definitely open to having people approach us about making videos, and that's what we really love to do. And not only does it make the organization that wants the video look good, but it also makes us look good and use our skills to create a great piece for them.
Right.
But also, giving so many different students the chance to work on a project is great for them too, because it can be a portfolio piece. If they're looking for a job or looking to market themselves later on in the future, and they can say, hey, look what I worked on. I helped to do this video for this organization, and that employer sees it and they're like, wow, this is very cool. Like, this is awesome. So I think it definitely helps both the organization and those who are involved in actually creating the video. So
Especially because in our field, I mean, we're electronic media and film study majors, so obviously most of us who graduate want to work somehow in the business, whether it's broadcast or filmmaking,
or television.
Yeah, anything like that. So basically, all that employers are looking for nowadays are portfolios and reels, and basically they do look at your resume, but I've learned through my dad, who's in the business, when he was looking for a job a couple of years back, that they wanted a portfolio, and he was like, I haven't made anything since the 90s.
They really, and that's a good point. They really want to see what you can do or what you have done to determine if you're legitimately qualified
Your
to work.
portfolio is your resume.
Literally,
Yeah.
yes,
At that point.
yes,
Yep.
yes, absolutely.
So are film festivals something that would ever be on EVA's radar? Like an IPSY 24 or a 48 or something? Or
Probably,
Absolutely, yeah. And this is something that Carly and I have discussed, actually. We, whether we participate in a film festival, like you mentioned, either in IPSY or Ann Arbor or Detroit or Michigan, like something like that, that would be awesome. We're definitely open to that. But also, we have even discussed holding our own film festival here at Eastern Michigan University, whether it's renting out a room or an auditorium here in the Student Center and showcasing some of our work for, students or faculty at the university to just come hang out and watch. We have talked about that, but, it's still kind of in the early stages, so
Yeah.
we're
And we want to reach out, obviously, to, the Eagle Filmmaker Association, or Eastern Filmmaker?
Yeah, Eagles.
Eagle Filmmaker Association. We want to reach out to them so that way they can showcase their stuff,
Right.
bring in
Yeah.
people from Eastern that have things to show, and possibly maybe invite high schoolers like who are applying and have them come in, anybody who's interested to see. Maybe that might help boost our program, get some more people
You got
involved.
WSF Productions.
Yep,
You got
yep.
the
We've-
WSF, absolutely.
We've considered them, and we also want to get involved more with the whole CMTA department as a whole, but specifically ETV as well, because
Yes.
we're really big into them and supporting them.
yeah, sort of like a media conglomerate.
Right.
Yeah.
thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a little festival.
Yep.
I find that interesting too because I don't know if you'd listened to. I had an interview with one of the not a founding member of EFA, but like a very early member, and the club in its first form was a film festival, and that's what Professor Hansen had envisioned for the club, was that people from all over would bring their films. So I think that's it's kind of cool, full circle. It's all
Right.
coming back.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and like I said, it's still kind of in the early stages, but we are definitely looking to do that at least before we graduate. I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
that's the goal. So
So what's your favorite project either of you have worked on? I know that's a juicy boy, but take that one at a time.
It was really recently, and you happen to be a part of it. We filmed something and we named it "The Way She Moves," which is a short about a party, and a guy is invited, and he's walks in and he's talking to the host, and then he looks across the room and he sees this girl, and she is just terrible at dancing. She's just busting her move, getting down with those funky beats. And he's like so taken aback by her, like, whoa, who is she? And then at the end, well, I won't spoil the end.
Yeah.
If people haven't checked it out, check it out. So that was cool because
Where could they find that?
That can be found on our Facebook page, which is
so it's on Facebook. You can check it out. Our social media is at Eastern Videographers on Facebook.
I should have known that
EV.
because I made it.
Yeah. So
EV, okay, Eastern Videographers.
Yep. So if you're interested in seeing that piece that Carly just mentioned, it's up there. So I would recommend that everybody go ahead and check it out.
And it was really cool to have it come alive because I came up with that idea. So we recently filmed that in January, I believe, or maybe early February. And I came up with that idea September, probably 2 weeks after I moved into my apartment, and I was on the bus and I was listening to the song Something by the Beatles, and then it just kind of occurred to me. And I remember the first thing I did was text Alex and Cameron and be like, hey, we need to do this. And then it took a while, but we actually did it, and I'm very content with it. It definitely is a good portfolio piece
Yeah.
too.
It turned out really nice.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with that.
I could have used more lines. I'm just kidding.
No, you were great. You were great in it. I think, I agree with Carly. I think that was definitely an awesome project to be a part of, specifically for the fact that we had a pretty big crew, and it was really cool to kind of invite everyone in and sort of direct people. And really, it was a whole process of actually making the film, and it was, if something wasn't right, we would redo it, and we would reset, and we would do multiple takes, and it was really good real world hands-on experience, and I think that's what we try to stress as a part of our organization. Aside from that, one project that we did actually last semester that I really enjoyed was the environmental PSA that we mentioned before, and we did it such that it was one continuous shot, and we had our main character was walking down a sidewalk, and we had people staged on either side of her throwing trash at her or polluting her in some way, and we had to run through it multiple times because it was one continuous shot, and we wanted to make sure that we had it absolutely perfect. So we had our cameraman was actually sitting on the back of a golf cart and filming as the girl walked.
Who's
and
the cameraman?
Was it Ricky?
It was Ricky, I believe.
Ricky Lucas was our camera guy, and he's also a member of the club. So we had it set up such that the girl would be walking down the sidewalk. We had people on either side of her, and we would give them cues as to when they had to, throw the trash or do whatever. And Ricky would shoot, and we would just slowly drive back on the golf cart and film her. And we had to do it multiple times. I think we ran through it like 5 or 7 times, but we got one take that was just perfect, and we we loved it and we saw it, and it was just awesome to see it all come to life. And that was also an idea that we came up with as a club, specifically Carly, and I think that it turned out awesome, and it has a really powerful message. So
I have a few questions about that.
Yeah.
Because it is a PSA, but it also seems like fiction.
right, yeah.
You know, it seems like it's got both. What are the main differences between making that PSA, besides for the one shot, like that specifically, but like making a PSA versus making like the way she moves? What do you guys think the main differences are?
For me, I think PSAs are great because their topics are about real life issues, and you know, protecting the environment is an important issue in today's world. So I think that being that the video carries that sort of real world appeal makes it, not to say that a short film is less meaningful or less powerful, but I think that PSAs just tend to jump out at you more because they're so real, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
And to add to that, PSAs can be anything. They could be a narrative style, I mean,
Right.
to get that point across, or they could just be a video where a person is talking to the audience about something.
Right.
So we just, when I came up with it, I'm obviously a lot more narrative style, but when we were thinking about producing it, I did want to stress that it should be video, mostly video style, and it could incorporate those other characteristics to it. But so that's like the main differentiation, because PSAs could be anything. Narrative style is just narrative.
So, what do you think's the least favorite? What's the worst project you've been a part of? I mean, they're all beneficial in
Ooh.
some way, but what's something you're like, okay, yeah, I could have did without that?
Yeah, I think we've had a couple of those, and not to say that they were really bad projects, but they're definitely learning experiences, I
Right.
think. So we had an idea for a cool series that we wanted to do, but we had a little bit of trouble carrying it out.
I sense from Carly's face that this might also be her answer, so.
So essentially the project was we wanted to profile a bunch of different things in and around the EMU community, and how it would work is we would break into teams and we would tackle a specific, like if one of the ideas for a video was the best coffee shops in and around Ypsilanti, and so we would break into teams and one of the teams would be assigned to that specific task, and they would be responsible for collecting footage and providing dialogue for which coffee shops are the best, you know?
Right.
And we struggled with that primarily because there was a lack of communication for who was supposed to be doing what. And also we didn't come up with a concrete plan for how to carry it out, and it proved to be a little bit disastrous.
Yeah.
A little bit does
Just
that.
a little bit. We actually just like kind of left it after the first attempt.
Yeah.
The topic was food on campus. So my group went to the student center, another group went to the eateries, and then another group went to like
The commons.
The commons.
Yeah.
And it's just when you have a group of people with different levels of experience, and that's the whole point of it, is a learning experience overall. But it's just hard when there's different levels, because one group's footage could be blurry, one group's footage, like the audio is messed up, and it wasn't concise, and it wasn't consistent. So it just didn't work out very well.
I think that speaks to something about not having a centralized idea that everybody understands
Yeah.
fully. I think every time I've been a part of anything, whether it's short films, shooting skits with my friends, even this is why I like this endeavor of being a podcaster, because it's like, here are my ideas. It might even come off as selfish, but that's not what I'm trying to say.
No.
But as long as everybody understands what the main end goal of something is,
Right.
then it's easier for you to do the little things. So it seems like when you split
Right.
into groups, it's harder to have that centralized leadership.
And I don't want to take away from the project itself, because the idea is great, and we
Right.
really think that it's a good project.
Would you ever do it again?
We still would like to
Yeah,
act on it at some point.
We'll revisit it.
We just need to, I guess, like we said, come up with a more concrete plan, define the roles more clearly, and maybe instead of breaking up into smaller groups, maybe take it on as a bigger group, because I'm finding, and I think Carly will agree, that working as a big conglomerate, is more successful than just kind of breaking people off and
Right.
saying, you do this, you do this, you do this, So,
It's a better way to learn too, because
Right.
you're watching people who are more experienced take on the jobs, and then you learn through them, how to do it. I mean, that's how I've learned in the past, is just watching other people do what they do best.
right.
So what do you think the goal with EFA is? What is the end goal of the group? Like, if you had to say a mission statement or
EVA.
EVA, I apologize.
I would say we are a student-run, student-led organization of people who love to make content and are passionate about it. Our main goal is to create content that we can be proud of, to use for a portfolio, and then along with that, we also want to learn through experience and also trial and error, and we want to teach other people who may not be as experienced. So, and the main thing that I always like to stress is that we're inclusive. You don't have to be a EMFS major, electronic media film studies major. You could be a journalism major. You could just be interested in doing this as a hobby. So we're very inclusive, and people that have different levels of experience, we take them all in.
Yeah, I think that sums it up really well, actually.
Okay, and I want to get to one thing that we had mentioned earlier, which was how Cam became president.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
So, like we discussed, Carly sort of invited me in, and I joined the club, and I realized quickly that, it was a good organization, good people, very inclusive, as Carly just said. And so we sort of moved on from last year, and we sort of reworked the club so that we abandoned the whole leadership idea behind it, because we just felt that wasn't really beneficial or relevant anymore. And we renamed the club, so we went from Leadership in Film Production to Eastern Videographers Association as a way to focus more in on videography. And our buddy Alex was nominated president before myself, and he did a great job sort of bringing us together, helping us focus more on the video side of things. And under him, we got to work on some projects. We made a really cool video for Fajita Fest.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And we also did the PSA, which we discussed. And Alex has since graduated. Congratulations, Alex.
Miss you.
Yeah, we miss you. But then we were up for elections, and we had all the club members vote, and it just came down, and it worked out for myself that I was elected president, and it turned out to be really good, really
Nice.
cool.
Well, it was a tie.
It was a tie.
It was a tie between
Okay.
you and me. However, I didn't want to take on that role.
Right.
I trusted him more.
That's true. So thank you, Carly. But I think that as far as the whole leadership side of the club is concerned, Carly and I work really well together. And so I think that the club is in very good hands with our leadership.
Yeah.
So how can people get more involved?
Come to our meetings.
Yeah, so-
yeah. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so we meet every Thursday. We are in King Hall. What room is that?
310.
310 King Hall. We meet every Thursday starting at 6 p.m. We usually go till about 7 or 8. And usually the meetings are a lot of fun. We talk about projects that we have coming up, or we just did pre-production for a new project that we have coming up. So keep an eye out for that. And we just try to hear everybody's ideas.
What about on social media again? What social medias are you on?
We are, right now, I think we're only on Facebook.
Yep.
That's our
Okay.
main platform,
Okay.
and it's Eastern Videographers.
Yep.
That's where you can find us. And we do try to post as much as we can.
Yep.
Sometimes, we don't keep up on it, but that's another goal that we have. So you can find us on there, and then the meetings as well. Maybe we can make some...
Yeah, we discussed making a YouTube channel to post all our work on, and I think we're going to be expanding out hopefully to Twitter and to Instagram as well. So, like I said, we're still kind of in the reworking portion.
For sure.
Making the transition from
Yeah.
Leadership in Film Production to Eastern Videographers Association.
It's a process.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
a process.
And we're working with the university to do that as well, because
Right.
they still identify us as the other
Yeah.
club, but
Okay.
we're...
Speaking of that, if anybody uses OrgSync, you would have to search Leadership in Film Production. That's where you'd find it. We're in the process of changing that, though.
Yeah, we're working on the name change and the whole reworking
Well,
thing,
best of
so.
luck with that. I have one last question. This is for each of you. Something I want to ask everybody on Talk 30 to me, and that's, where are you from and where are you going?
You're going to have to give me a minute for this one.
Okay, I guess I'll go. Well, I am from white suburbia, Livonia, Michigan. Went to high school, Churchill High School, and I was a part, and I was a part of a creative and performing arts program known as Kappa. And through that, I was a part of a bunch of different shows, plays, musicals, but I also discovered my love for video. And so I came here to Eastern. Right now I'm a junior, hopefully going to graduate on time next year, April. Hopefully, we'll see. And where am I going to go? I most likely am going to stay in Michigan for a little while, get my things together, make sure that I'm financially stable. I probably might be working, it is likely that I'll be working at Little Caesars Arena. My father has a job there, and I have connections with other people that work there. So that is likely. However, my goal is to get out of Michigan, whether it be New York City, Chicago, Atlanta. I don't want to go to California, though. But we'll see. We'll see where that goes.
Very well said.
Yes.
That was really good, Carly. Yeah. That was really good. I don't know if I can top that. But yeah, so where I'm from is I grew up in Sterling Heights, Michigan, which is also the suburbs. I went to Henry Ford II High School, which is in Sterling Heights.
I'm sorry, is it called Henry Ford II?
Yeah, Henry Ford II High School.
What the heck?
Really
is there a first?
Yeah, there's Henry Ford one in like Detroit or something. But yeah, so Henry Ford II High School. And I kind of just took a filmmaking class my freshman year of high school just for fun, as an elective to kind of explore it. And the teacher that I had was really great, and he kind of instilled that passion in me. And I ended up taking that film class all 4 years of high school, starting with the lowest level and working up to the most advanced class. And from there, I kind of just developed my passion of filmmaking and ran with it. And then I settled on Eastern for school, decided I wanted to major in the electronic media and film studies, and here I am. Like Carly, I'm also a junior and planning to graduate next year if all goes well, which it is, so that's exciting. And where I'm going, I think that California is the dream for me. I've been out to California several times, and I really just love it out there. I think that there's a lot of great opportunities, and I think that's where I will have the most success in my career. Obviously, I want to be financially stable and make sure that, I can handle myself before I make the jump out there, but that is the goal someday. So.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on today's show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
So that was the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to the second episode of Talk 30 to Me. But I have one last announcement, and it is about Brisk. That's right, Brisk Iced Tea. They actually contacted me through Twitter during the setup process for this interview, and they were nice enough to send me free cans of limited edition Black Panther drinks. Now, I haven't gotten them yet, but I've gotten in contact with them, and they said they're going to send them, and believe me, I will be promoting them. It's not a paid sponsorship by any means. I just wanted to say thank you so much to Brisk Iced Tea. And after that, as long as you show up to the lame show on Saturday, I got nothing else to say to you. So long, world.